The world we see today feels chaotic, unstable, and on the edge of collapse. Yet beneath the chaos lie deeper structural causes of crisis. Over the next 10 to 20 years, optimism will be difficult to justify. Democracy may become a relic of the past. Civil wars will become more common. Immigration, economic breakdowns, and external conflicts will shape everyday life. This decadence is already visible in the processes shaping the modern world. Today we live in a world full of conflict and uncertainty. Wars rage across the planet, from Ukraine to the Middle East to Southeast Asia. Even in the United States, recent news points to potential military interventions in Mexico and Venezuela. These crises are not isolated. They extend into politics, economics, and everyday life. Environmental problems are becoming impossible to ignore. Climate change, polluted water, air, and soil threaten basic life resources. Pressure on the environment continues to rise, while society's ability to adapt steadily weakens. People lose motivation and enthusiasm for work, reducing economic productivity and social energy. Demographic trends are equally alarming. Birth rates are falling worldwide, while younger generations delay marriage and parenthood. If this trend continues, societies will face serious long-term challenges to population stability and economic sustainability. Living standards stagnate or decline. Inflation rises, wages fail to keep up, and both public and private debt weigh heavily on society. Health issues and stress are becoming the norm. People feel emotionally exhausted. Depression and anxiety are widespread. Optimism and mutual trust are fading. As social cohesion weakens, societies lose the ability to respond collectively to crises. In Western countries, additional signs of decadence appear through mass immigration and rising housing prices. While immigration can bring diversity and dynamism, it often reduces social cohesion and strains living standards. Young people struggle to afford housing. Government finances are under increasing pressure. Pension systems are approaching a breaking point. All of these forces, conflict, economic crisis, demographic decline, and loss of trust, intertwine and shape the world we inhabit. They point to a harsh truth. Societies move through cycles of rise and decline. Understanding these patterns is essential if we want to anticipate future turbulence. There are three major theories that help explain why civilizations rise, stagnate, and collapse. Each offers a different perspective, but together they form a broader picture of historical and modern social dynamics. The first theory is financialization, developed by economist Thomas Piketty. Capitalism moves through phases that shape how wealth is created and power is distributed. In its early stage, society focuses on producing real goods. Factories, agriculture, and innovation drive growth. People work, create value, and reinvest capital into new projects. Over time, capitalism shifts into financial capitalism. The focus moves away from production and toward financial instruments. The final stage is monopolistic capitalism, where a small number of corporations dominate entire industries because controlling markets is more profitable than competing. The problem is that real wealth creation slows down. Speculation replaces production. Growth weakens, unemployment rises, debt expands, and inequality deepens. According to Piketty, this is not an accident. It is a structural outcome of late-stage capitalism. The second theory is elite overproduction, proposed by historian Peter Turchin. Societies destabilize when too many powerful individuals compete for too few elite positions. The children of elites fight over status, wealth, and influence, creating internal conflict at the top of society. Turchin illustrates this with the Universe 25 experiment, conducted by James B. Calhoun. In an environment of abundance, rats eventually began to fight and kill each other, not over resources, but over status. Human elites behave similarly. When competition intensifies, corruption, factionalism, and political violence follow. The result is instability, revolution, or civil war. The third theory comes from philosopher Oswald Spengler and describes the life cycle of civilizations. Like living organisms, civilizations are born, grow, mature, and eventually die. Early societies are small, cohesive, and cooperative. People rely on each other, share resources, and have high birth rates. As civilizations expand into cities and megacities, individualism replaces community. Tradition and solidarity give way to abstraction, most often money. People no longer depend on one another. Birth rates fall, society becomes fragmented and vulnerable to internal crises. Closely connected to this is the concept of the three pillars of power: finance, ideology, and intelligence. Finance controls access to resources. Ideology shapes beliefs and values. Intelligence and surveillance control information. Together, they form a nexus of power that influences education, media, politics, the military, culture, and even crime. At the outer edge of this system are the people. They generate labor, innovation, and wealth. Between the elite and the masses stands the middle class: managers, professionals, and bureaucrats who organize society on behalf of those at the top. This structure can be compared to a corporation. The elite are the owners, the people are the workers, the middle class are the managers. When the system thrives, managers are encouraged to innovate and motivate workers. When the system enters crisis, managers become bureaucratic rent-seekers focused on protecting themselves. During periods of rise, cooperation dominates. Meritocracy, openness, and innovation flourish. During stagnation, deception replaces consent. During collapse, coercion replaces persuasion. As elite conflicts intensify, factions emerge. Society fractures. Authority becomes authoritarian, not out of strength, but weakness. External shocks, war, pandemics, climate disasters accelerate collapse because the system can no longer adapt. This dynamic is universal. It appears in ancient Greece, Rome, imperial China, medieval Europe, and modern states alike. It transcends ideology, culture, and political systems. The conclusion is clear. Societies rise when they are open, cohesive, and innovative. They decline when power concentrates, speculation replaces production, and cooperation turns into coercion. Collapse follows when internal conflicts overwhelm institutions. In the end, social decline follows internal laws and rhythms that repeat throughout history. Understanding these mechanisms does not offer easy solutions, but it allows us to recognize where we stand and where we may be headed.